etc. And when I wrote this book, The Memo, which is now a bestseller, you haven't got it, get it. You can get it from operationhope.org, and proceeds go to benefit my favorite charity that's doing financial literacy work in urban America around this country. So you get a book and a donation at the same time. When I wrote this book, I wrote it because I didn't think that the world was doing a good job of helping people to understand that is what they don't know that's killing them, but they think they know. That no one gave you the memo on how this world works. And it hit me today that while I know I want to build an empire, it may be obvious to you that you're spending your days grinding away at things that actually may be the exact opposite of building an empire. How are you spending your time? This is real talk now. Do you have a list of gripes? Do you have a list of complaints? This is time. Do you have a managed list of people you don't like? Do you have a list of things you don't like about your job? Are you spending a lot of time in your job focusing on in late, long lunch, leave early? Like, are you obsessed with avoiding working? Then you're miserable and you need to quit. Do yourself a favor, go find something you love. Are you hanging around people who you actually don't want to be like? Are you spending all of your time gossiping about what other people are doing? Because successful people and optimistic people talk about their ideas, and depressed people and people who are focused on survival versus thriving, those who are focused on surviving are focused on talking about other people. This is not a criticism. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying you're bad. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying these are choices that you need to figure out how you're investing your time. You've heard me say, you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. If you spend all of your time worrying about what somebody feels about you or saying about you, but those people that you're worrying about are not people you want to actually be like or to emulate, why are you worried about it? So if you want to build an empire, then are you doing the things that will get you there? Are you going to a club 3 nights a week? Are you going to parties and hanging out 3 or 4 nights a week? That won't get you there. Now, only in the dictionary does the word success come before the word failure, because it's alphabetical. So you got to figure out, like, I told a friend of mine recently, like, she hangs out like 3 or 4 nights a week. Partly it's her business, so I understand that, it's entertainment. But I said, what kind of people are you hanging around? Are you hanging around builders? Are you hanging around people who write checks or those who cash them? Are you hanging around journeymen? Are you hanging around builders, entrepreneurs, small business owners? Are you hanging around dreamers? Look, when you go out and hang out tonight, look around the room and say, is that who I want to be like? Is that who I want to hang around? Is this giving me a return on my investment? And when I went to New York recently, I was like, hey, you want to go hang out? No. I've been out all day. I'm going back to my hotel room. I'm going to study. I'm going to research. I'm going to write. I'm going to reflect. I'm going to get some good food. I'm going to talk to my family. I'm going to do some writing on my book. That feeds me, thank God. But also, I'm preparing myself for battle. I'm making myself stronger because this is war out here, and I want to build an empire. Everything I do is focused on building an empire, which then gives me the freedom to have fun. And then I get to define what fun looks like. And the question is, what are you building? And start with something simple. If you want to build an empire, say your name right now. Put it in the comments. Say it right now. Joe Blow LLC, Mary Jane LLC. Say it, claim it, and that is your brand. Now, you got to start with something achievable. Go buy 1 share of stock somewhere in your name. Don't tell me you can't do it. Don't say you can't afford it because you can do fractional shares. You've heard me talk about that before. Go research fractional shares on the internet, find a company you like, and open a fractional share account for $2, $4, $10, $25. You can buy a fractional share of any stock that you like, no matter how much that share is. But now you've got a fractional share or share of stock in your name. Now that's the first asset of Joe Blow LLC. All right, you got assets and liabilities in your life, right? When you lease a car, buy a car, that's probably a liability. When you buy a shirt or whatever, unless you're using it for business purposes, that's a liability. When, when you buy 40 pairs of tennis shoes, that is not an asset. That is a liability. I understand there are some collective tennis shoes, but that's not my point. But when you buy a book and you use it to educate yourself, that's an asset. When you buy this book, it is an asset. When you make a charitable contribution, it's actually an asset because it helps the society, it helps yourself, gives you a charitable deduction. Something in my eye. When you buy one share of stock, go online and invest in a startup. $5, $50, $100. Online, you can do fractional startup investing. Invest in your own business. Let your 9 to 5, your job now finance your 5 to 9, your dream. Let your 9 to 5, your job finance your 5 to 9, your dream. If you can't afford to have your own business, then go do multi-level marketing like I did when I was 18, 19 years old. The question is, what are you building? Like, if you're gonna rent $1,000 a month, why aren't you trying to buy something for $1,000 a month? It may not be as glitzy as a place downtown, but they own that, you don't. And if you buy the $1,000 place that has a $1,000 a month mortgage on it, it may be less glitzy, but you're building an asset in your name. Put something on your name, an asset, not a liability. And just because you put something on your does not make it an asset. Okay, it's an asset, not a. Okay, so put something on your name. Build little by little. So how did I create a global enterprise operating now with different entities in 80 countries? And how did I live my dream from Compton, California and South Central LA and experiencing 3 deaths, murders before I was 10 years old, 2 physical murders, and then the death of the marriage of my mother and father, the death of that marriage that destroyed all our assets. And again, two people I love were murdered before I was 10, and I was homeless 6 months of my life. Don't think I've got a silver spoon in my mouth and I'm giving you some rhetoric. I literally did this with a lot of help from mentors and friends and loved ones and a lot of grit from myself and God. I did this all myself. And I built an empire, but this has been my obsession. This has been my focus my entire life. Building an empire. Start with your credit score. Go to a Hope Inside location today, right near you. Start with something practical. Make a goal. I'm gonna move my credit score 20 points in 6 months. I'm gonna move my credit score 50 points in 8 months. I'm gonna move my credit score 120 points in 24 months. That will set you free in and of itself. It'll raise your self-esteem. It'll lower your stress. It'll lower your cost of borrowing. It'll let you get a job anywhere you want because people checking your credit now wherever you go. Credit scores are not only a gateway to a better life, it changes how you feel about yourself. Literally, as my credit score up, I feel better about myself, and it's something you can control and nobody else controls you. It's something that's completely in your own control, and as it goes up, your optimism goes up. You want to become a homeowner? Let's start there. Go to Operation Hope. Sign up to the home ownership program. You want to become a small business owner? Go to Operation Hope, sign up to the small business program. You want to go and become an entrepreneur, which is different than a small business owner. Go to Operation Hope, sign up for the small business program. If you think you're a businessman, but you've never been through any training, you may not be a businessman or a businesswoman. You may be confusing busyness with businessman or businesswoman. And if your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. Guy told me recently that a friend of his bought a building, went and bought equipment for the building for a restaurant. And when he walked up and said, "This is fantastic, let me see your P&L," the guy said, "What's a P&L?" By the way, it's called a profit and loss statement. When the guy said, "You can't run a business without P&L," the guy just cried. He's like, "Man, nobody even taught me this game. Nobody gave me the memo. Nobody gave me training. I'm just out here hustling. I've got no mentors. I want to be your mentor. I want to be your trainer. I want to be your come up. I want to be your backup. I want Operation to be your partner in your uplift and your outflow. I want you to take your life back and decide what kind of empire you're going to build. An empire of family, of beautiful children, an empire of a career, of a skill, an empire of a talent, the creative juices, the empire of being an artist, the empire of owning real estate, the empire of being a businessman or businesswoman or an entrepreneur, the empire of owning a basketball team or a football team or just owning yourself. Spiritually, just owning yourself, which is the beginning of everything. Because if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. I'm out. John Hope Bryant. Leave a comment, share, spread the move.